Well, good evening. Welcome to another edition of Straight Off the Pipe podcast. My sidekick couldn't make it tonight. Life kind of happened, and a wise fisherman once told me, while you're busy making plans, life happens. So I'm going to be running this one all by myself. Hopefully you can hear me and the audio's good. I don't have the fancy Rogers Arena background tonight. I got a flooring store behind me because this is kind of where the new Cell Block 99 is. If those of you that watched me before know what Cell Block 99 is. If you're listening, you can comment. I'll see it and I can respond to what you're saying. I'm going to start how I always start and crack a cold Coors. Cheers. It's tough to say goodbye to Adam Larsson, but I guess that's kind of a new reality that we all kind of have to face. Sorry. Tough to see him go. He was a warrior. One of those guys that wasn't looking for the shine or all the credit. Just kind of went about his daily business, doing his job, and played kind of that old school, kind of nasty, do whatever it takes to get the puck back kind of D. And I think we need that. I think we're missing that. I think that's got to be on Ken Holland's shopping list, is to find some way to replace that, and it won't be easy. I don't know if it's coming via trade or free agency in the next coming days. I'm not sure, but that's a hole that needs to be filled if we're gonna compete next year. I like the Duncan Keith trade. I didn't like the cost of it, thinking that he would be a good person to pair up with Adam Larsson. I thought that would have been a great pairing, but we're not going to get to see it unless something wild and crazy happens, and you never know. But I think that ship has sailed, and it's on to the next. Lots of buzz about Zach Hyman coming out this morning and kind of yesterday, and it's kind of been the Bob Stauffer talk for a while. I think the player will be fine. I think that would be a good addition, sort of that power forward. I'm not sure. I would have liked a little bit more goal scoring touch added for that left side, but Hyman will help for sure. And my attitude right now is, if it has to be a longer term, so be it. Let's win a cup in the next 4 years. Get after it. But you lost Adam, so you got to fill that gap. It looks like we're gonna re-sign Mike Smith for the next 2 years. Okay, Smitty was all right last year. The wage is something you can handle. 2 million, 2.5, whatever. It's not, that's not going to be a huge detriment, but you need to backfill that. I think you've got to do something and try to improve from what we had last year, because last year wasn't good enough. Now you're missing Larsson, so you're really going to need a steady goalie to right the ship. Last year was a shortened season, so I think that favored Mike Smith. I was worried all season that he was going to rip a groin or something like that. Just side to side movement, on an older body can be something that's tough. So I'm glad he made it through pretty much injury free, except for at the start. But to ask him to, play 65, 70 games as a full-time, Martin Brodeur or Grant Fuhr kind of starter, I think is asking for trouble. So you need to find some relief. And if, I don't know, I don't think I would buy out Koskinen until you had a backup plan. I think that's a risky move. I've said that to Dash before here. I just don't think that would be something that I would do. You got to look elsewhere, I think, but you got to shore up that net before you cut Mikko loose completely. I think Holland today on his press conference hinted that there was definitely going to be a buyout, so I am thinking that is James the real deal Neal, but I guess we'll find out when it happens. lots of other stuff going on. I guess maybe Frank Saravalli used up all his Nostradamus yesterday with predicting, everything that was going to happen in the Seattle draft, because this morning he kind of made it appear as though, we were a dark horse candidate to land Dougie Hamilton. Yeah, and then later on, a few hours later at probably quarter after 11 or something, Holland said that he's not going to go big game hunting on a defenseman. So I think that rules out Dougie Hamilton there, unless that's Ken Holland hedging a bet that I'll plant the seed that I wasn't even shopping for the guy, so that way if I don't get him, it doesn't look like I lost out on something. I don't know. But that's kind of some of the stuff that's going around right now. I'm interested to see what happens next if they do get Zach Hyman. That kind of, I think, is a little bit of the shopping on the left side. If you hedging is my guess. Yeah, it could be. I mean, I don't know. I thought Holland was pretty honest and straightforward in his presser, but I don't think a good GM really reveals everything that they're going to do. And I kind of chuckled at the end of that press conference when Jimmy Matheson was asking him who specifically he was wanting to target to replace Larsson, and he's like, "I'm not going to answer that." I laughed pretty hard at that. I thought, yeah, no shit, you're not going to answer that, because what does that do? That drives up the price of whoever you're trying to get. So he might be an older guy, and people want to say he's lost it or whatever, but he doesn't show his complete hand, so that's good. I don't know. After losing Larsson, it's like you need to fix the D, and you need to improve on what we had in net last year, because last year with Mikko and Mike, as well as they played, it just wasn't good enough come playoff time, and you gotta make sure you've got that figured out. So Steve Yzerman made a pretty substantial deal to get a young and up and coming goalie for Detroit for the future. Cost wasn't outrageous, so come on, Ken, work some magic and make sure you get that goalie position solidified and strengthen this team. I didn't like what he had to say about the third line center there. Comparing it, I think, to a video game or whatever, that it's not that easy. Well, it's your job. We don't care if it's easy or hard or whatever. You need to go out there and you need to do what you need to do to make this team better. So work some magic and get that third line center that can win some draws and kill some penalties and be a steady force. Whether he's a legitimate sniper, I don't think that's really the ask. I think what we need is that guy that can win key draws, in your own end, when it's on the opposite side from what Leon likes to take, and a couple of draws go differently, and we've got a couple of playoff wins. I mean, it's as simple as that. So that is a key piece and needs to be addressed. Having utility guys is good too, guys that can play either wings. I still like the idea of Rickard Rakell, but I think if we land Zach Hyman, that kind of squashes that. And maybe you can revisit that in a year when Rakell's contract's up, but I don't know. I want to see a team that not only makes the playoffs next year, but starts to push, to go a few rounds and see what happens. I don't think we can be content anymore with just making the playoffs. I don't think that's good enough. We're getting a little further along into Leon and Connor's career, and we need to start getting some things done. I don't know. I didn't hear Rashog's hit on 1050 that everybody was talking about. Rumor is that he was hinting that if we don't start getting things done, that we run the risk of losing Connor and Leon. when I think he was the guy trying to sell us that that wasn't who they were. So, which is it? But all I know is that this is a big off season for the Oilers, and they need to write a couple things with the team, and then we're off to the races. But the Duncan Keith deal, if you could have got, I like Duncan Keith. I'm going to preface what I'm going to say with that, but I said before, if you could have got Chicago to eat some of that salary, bringing him over, and even if it cost you another draft pick or whatever, that doesn't matter. You get them to take on some of that salary. It would have given you more flexibility. If they would have took on $1.5 million or $1 million, that gives you a little bit more to play with, and then that might put you in the conversation of going after a Dougie Hamilton and going about it that way. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll respond to whatever you guys say. I see my friend Brian just tuned in. Hello there, sir. Hope you're keeping well. Yeah, this Seattle thing, it's kind of the revenge of the ex-Oilers. They draft Pitlick, although he's going to Calgary. Everly's there, Adam Larsson. So hopefully when they score against us, it's all in the same game and they use them all up at once, because it always happens that they're going to score against us. But I kind of laugh at that anyways. Guys score goals, who knows when, but it does always seem like people light the lamp when they're playing us. So the way she goes, I guess. Yeah, there's work to be done. This off season, I'm hopeful. I think that's somewhat of the curse of being an Oilers fan. Your hope springs eternal. So every summer you're hoping that the team can be reshaped and revamped, and there are some really good pieces on this club. So it's just a matter of surrounding them with some other parts. I don't really hate the Mike Smith signing, but the guy's long in the tooth. He's one injury away from having his season being over, or his career. So that part kind of makes me nervous. So relying on him as your starter, I think, is a dangerous way to run your hockey team. So get somebody else that can play the position and play the position well, and have a succession plan where you're going in the future in terms of the goalie position. I mean, it's been something, I think, in oil country that's been neglected for a long time. It's time to fix that and right the ship going forward. Given the mini buyouts, the Arizona trades, that trade just looks poorer and poorer. I like Keith. He's an excellent athlete, but am firmly in the he's regressing camp, and this could bite us hard. Yeah, I mean, the guy is not getting any younger, and Father Time is sort of undefeated. I kind of believe that there are rare athletes that can push their careers, deeper and deeper. So I don't know. I take what happened with, people want to point to a lot of his numbers in Chicago the last few years, and Chicago in general has been on the decline. I don't think it's just Duncan Keith. Jonathan Taves misses a whole season. So I mean, there's a lot going on with the Chicago Blackhawks. The other stuff behind the scenes that was going on there. I somehow think that might have been a reason why Duncan Keith wanted out, as well as wanting to get closer to his son, which he said, but I don't think he's going to touch on the other part of that. So one of my windows is being funny. Sorry, I'm trying to play here at the same time. Just bothered me. Just 1 second, I'll get her fixed. There we go. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if we didn't make that trade the day we did, and you know, we've kind of forced Chicago's hand a little bit. Maybe the price comes down, you know. But I guess you know, if we wait till the expansion draft, then maybe we don't have Caleb Jones. Maybe we still have Adam Larsson. I mean, it's hard to play the what if game. I think it's just stay in what is and what isn't, and live there, because you drive yourself crazy thinking about what could have been. I mean, Oiler fans are pretty famous for it. Everybody points back to the Griffin Reinhart Barzal kind of thing, and yep, it sucks shit. But we're not there anymore, so you know, I think you just torture yourself trying to think about what if scenarios. You know, what if this happened? What if this didn't happen? All that. So I try not to live there, but everybody is entitled to run their life however they find their harmony. Yeah, you know, some people telling other people how to fan. You know, you can criticize all you want. You can run a petition around Twitter, you know, trying to get the GM fired. Good luck with that. I'm not sure Daryl Cates is really going to care about your petition, but if he thinks the guy he's got running the club is doing a good job, I think he'll keep him in place. And if he doesn't, I think changes will be made, and that's kind of the way it is. I think, you know, being an owner and being a GM, I think you need a lot of patience for a lot of things. And you know, as a fan, you can have patience or you can have no patience. That's entirely up to you. Yeah, it's fun. There's some funny stuff that goes on. A guy's whining about, you know, fans whining today on Twitter. So it's fun. It's fun. You know when you're going to a game, I'll use this as our what the frack segment. But when you're going to a game, the fan that I hate the most, you know, everybody hates the guy banging on the glass. Whatever. You know, I don't care about that. The guy that I hate the most is the guy that is, you know, up about 15 rows, so he's, you know, kind of within earshot, and he's just screaming at an individual player. You know, for a while it was Lucic, like, Lucic, you suck, you know, and whatever it was. But it was always like directed at one player, and that player's on your team. To me, I was, you know, yeah, I don't like the way he's playing, but I don't know, bitching out your own player and thinking that's going to help him play better. Yeah. For one, they probably don't hear you, but for two, if they do hear you, you're just going to piss them off and make them want to leave. And you know, I saw another pod that was, you know, basically saying the reason why Larsson left, and I mean, I don't know if you're just using that to draw attention, to try to draw people into your podcast or whatever, but I don't know. I don't know too many, you know, generic sort of Oilers podcasts that know, you know, specific things going on with the team. I mean, everybody's an insider now, but nobody really has a source. Oh yeah, I wrote a little note here. I just got to go to it. I got something. So for my oil blowout segment, I got to say something about something I saw on Twitter last night about McDavid and the temper he had in Game 4 against Winnipeg. He chewed out JP and I think pushed Tippett into taking him off his line or benching him for a couple shifts. If you're going to use that as a reason to say he's a bad leader, that is your prerogative. But we've all watched Boys on the Bus, and I think and know how competitive those guys were and how much they challenged each other. I mean, I played in an old timers game here in Grand Prairie with Glenn Anderson and Mark Napier on my team, and we were winning against firefighters and EMS guys. Score was 13-5, and they still were barking and on the bench and pissed at errant passes like it was Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. And most people, you know, have watched, you know, on Netflix or whatever, the Last Dance. Um, and you saw how hard Michael Jordan pushed his teammates and how he punched Steve Kerr in the face. Well, he punched him right in the nose, and I think he gave him a bloody nose in practice. Nobody questioned Michael Jordan's leadership. So I don't know. I kind of find it funny that, you know, we still have some people that are questioning Connor's, you know, leadership ability. You know, it's okay to get angry. It's okay to get upset. You know, if you're content with losing, I think that's more of a problem than you know, smashing a stick or you know, throwing a water bottle or, you know, losing your cool. To You know, I think if you accept losing, you know, and you just kind of deal with it calmly and you know, you're fine with everything, I don't think you're ever going to win. You know, I think you have to get, you know, where you hate to lose. You know, the old Oilers used to talk about, you know, they finished the Stanley Cup and they go by the Islanders dressing room and they're expecting them to be celebrating and they're all icing up. You know, they left it all out there. They did everything they needed to do to win, and Oilers had to learn that back then. So now it's, you know, you see what it takes to win, and then you got to start fighting for it. Otherwise, I don't think you win. It's like, you know, nothing's going to get handed to us. We've got the best player in the world and probably easily in the top five, the second best player. But nobody's going to hand us a Stanley Cup. You know, the pieces need to be put in place, and then guys need to go out there and do their job. Awful Bill Belichick of me, but it's basically what it comes down to. You got to get out there and you got to do it on the ice. Yeah, the petition was pretty funny, but you know what? If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. I'm not critical of that. I really don't care. You know, being a 45-year-old guy, I just I know where that's gonna go, and it's basically around Twitter. It's never gonna go anywhere. But you know, if you feel like you need to make that up, good for you. It's like the guy that, you know, wrote a, you know, goodbye letter for his fandom. All right. That's what you need to do. Good job, bud. I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's been tough times being an Oilers fan for sure. If it wasn't for Alex Hemsky and Ryan Smith, I don't know if I would still be here. Those guys, you know, their talent, they're, you know, leaving it all out there kind of for, you know, basically years by themselves. Kept me watching. And then, you know, I look at it as, you know, all those hard years and losing, all roads led to Connor, and you know, he's worth the price of admission. He's something to watch for. But you know, you land that type of player, you need to surround him with a group of guys that have the same goal and the same attitude, and you know, they're not going to be all skilled as him. That's not going to happen. But high skilled players and you know, some guys that can make some room for him, and away you go. But Ken really needs to find a goalie to go with Mike Smith. I like I said, I don't have a problem with Mike Smith, but you need more than that. It wasn't enough last year in the playoffs. So what makes you think you know, him being a year older is going to be enough this time around? And I think they know that, but they're having a hard time with the succession plan, and they need to find it. Whether that means drafting a goalie for the future this year or what, but I think you need to be more immediate than that. If you draft a goalie for the future this year, he's still probably, you know, 3-4 years away from being an impact player in the NHL. You can get lucky sometimes, but I don't know if we should be trying to rely on luck too much right now. I don't know how long I'll stay on the air tonight. I got another beer here. I'll probably finish that, and we'll see how we're at. But if you have any questions, just chat in the comments. If you're watching on Facebook, you actually have to click on the image itself, and then you can comment on there, and then I'll see it and I can respond back to you. Chirp me if you want, ask me whatever you want, and see if I got an answer. Seemed very dismissive of the possibility in the presser. Did not like that he was tuned into basically forwards. Yeah. You can't just land Zach Hyman and think all of the Oilers' problems are going to go away. That's one piece of the puzzle, but there's a little bit more work to do. You need to find something, whether it's by committee or a bona fide, right shot D that's kind of a shutdown guy. I don't think, going after Tyson Barrie, that kind of, he provided a lot of offense, but he didn't provide a lot of defense. Larsson provided a lot of defense. You want to turn this into the 80s Oilers, okay, sign Tyson Barrie, get Zach Hyman, and you better look for another sniper, and probably two goalies to, just play run and gun, 100 shots a night kind of hockey, River. But that's not going to get it done in the playoffs. You might make the playoffs with the guys you have on the team playing that kind of style, but I don't think that's going to win in the playoffs. Everything just tightens up, the calls go away, and you need to be able to play a stronger game. Tyson Barrie had a great regular season, but he didn't put up much in the playoffs in terms of points. I thought he played actually better defensively, but there wasn't a lot of points being put up by him. Power plays went by the wayside in playoffs. We didn't get that many, maybe one a game, if that, some nights. And, I think our lethal power play just kind of came back down to earth in the playoffs. So, re-signing Tyson Barrie is not the move that I would be making, but if you're going to go that route, I don't think Dave Tippett is the coach you want behind the bench, because you're going to have to open things up offensively, and I just don't know if he's really inclined to play riverboat hockey. The other Mike had a situation where, while you're busy making plans, life kind of happened to him. So he is unavailable for this evening, but should be back Sunday night. And Sunday night, Rob, you might know him on Twitter as Inked Oil, is supposed to join us, barring that the oil field doesn't come calling and he goes running. But the plan is to have him on, make his podcasting debut as a guest of ours, and we're looking forward to having him. And there's some plans for the future. Chris Dingman has agreed to come on the show, and then we've got kind of another surprise Edmonton area celebrity guest that says he will come on, but I'm not going to reveal that yet because I'm a tease. Yeah, and you know what? If anybody's watching and they want to be a part of the show, you can message me or Dash. You can DM me on Twitter, I guess, at Mike Dursa. If you're a friend on Facebook, just send me a message. And YouTube, I guess, drop a comment. And we'll see if we can get you on. I'm just going to lose that today's topics part because you guys are chatting a little bit more than normal. Yeah, if there's anything you want to ask, fire away, and I'll see what I got. But it's, last week we talked about kind of our favorite playoff moments. I'll go into another one of mine from the 06 run there. So I think it was game one in Detroit. and I think it was on a Sunday afternoon, and I was installing flooring, doing a side job, and they had a TV set up, and we shuffled the TV around so I could keep watching the game. And I didn't think much was going to happen that series, so I booked a job on that day, and yeah, needless to say, I was deeply regretting that I was working while it was going on, because I get pretty excited sometimes during the playoffs. And yeah, we beat Detroit that day, and I didn't ever book a side job again while playoffs were on. And yeah, it was pretty fun. I'm banging in some laminate flooring and watching the Oilers, and yeah, I was pretty slow that day. I didn't get a lot installed, but I remember that, working on my knees and watching the game. I see my friend Jeremy just tuned in for a second there. Hello, Mr. Jeremy. One day we got to get back together. Next time I'm around the city, I believe we should do something. Yeah. I always make a point, like when I come to Edmonton, for whatever reason, since I was a kid, I always loved skating at West Ed. So now that I'm a 40-year-old guy, every time I'm in Edmonton, just about, if I can do it, I have my skates in my car, and I go for a burn and listen to my headphones, and I'm as free as a bird in that rink, you know. Especially in the summertime, you wear your shorts and you're going for a skate, and all the tourists think you're crazy. It's a lot of fun. Sorry, it's easier to do this when Dash is on, because I can check what you all are saying or what you're doing when when I have a guest, and then it doesn't look like I'm ignoring people. But it's hard to run the show and see what everybody's up to at the same time. It's kind of, the other day I watched Oilers Live run his podcast on YouTube, and he runs a very clean background and display, and he's not in a flooring store like me, but it's pretty cool watching pods now on YouTube. It's I've got a big screen TV at home, and I just put on the podcast and tell it to go on to my TV or whatever, and watching them in 65-inch clear is much better than watching on your phone. So shout out to the people watching on YouTube. I think we're tiptoeing on 60 subscribers now, which is really cool. When I used to do the Cell Block 99 podcast from the basement, and I tried to, I streamed to YouTube, but we'd never get any views, and I had like 3 subscribers or something stupid, and, couldn't really build a channel there. So it's pretty cool that, we're 3 episodes in, and there's, I think, what is it? I'll just check here. Oh, man. Yeah, there's 58 of you, so we're tiptoeing on 60 subscribers, so that's pretty cool. Once you really start climbing the ladder on YouTube, then it can be pretty rewardful. So I guess that's sort of the goal. But I'm not the salesperson to be handing or hounding people to, you need to subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe. Click this, notifications this, whatever. If you subscribe, that's cool. If you don't, then that's cool too. I just I like it that anybody wants to tune in and listen to me chat about hockey, and the more interactive this is, the more fun it is, and yeah, I enjoy doing it. I took some time off. I moved from the old Cell Block 99 house to a different place, and when I got into my different place, I really didn't have a room to kind of set up for doing a podcast, so I just kind of took a hiatus for a while. And then the laptop I was doing it off, kind of the motherboard died, and I got told it was going to be $2,400 to replace my motherboard. So that was about $1,000 more than what my laptop was worth at the time. So I'm just kind of on hold when it comes to that. But No, I'm just doing the pods from the shop. If Dash was here, it would kind of be a Skype call, and then you can set your background, so it look like I'm in Rogers Place, but running solo tonight. Basically tried to Skype myself, and that didn't really pan out so good. So welcome to Spirit River Flooring, home. This is where I work. But yeah, we're gonna try to come at you 2 times a week and have almost like the Shannon Sharp, Skip Bayless kind of back and forth. The other Mike is pretty animated, and he's got his opinions, and sometimes they differ from me. Sometimes we agree. I'm the stoic old guy, I guess, but he's actually a couple months older than me, I think. So it's kind of funny. But no, we've enjoyed the first 2 episodes, and coming out tonight. We're trying to stick to our schedule. So he told me he couldn't make it, so I said no problem. I'll just do what I used to do and carry the torch, and Sunday night, 9 o'clock. Inked Oil is supposed to be our guest, and we will come at you again. Hopefully, there's more to talk about. Probably go for another 10 minutes here tonight. And that's probably about as far as I'll go. The one thing that seems to get under my skin always is the Darnell Nurse slander, especially after the season he had this year. Before it was doubting him, and I think it's pretty hard to deny the fact that he did a really good job. He stepped up. He played heavy minutes. He kind of had second power play time at times. I mean, there was times where he didn't even get a 15-second shift on the power play. When there was 3-4 power plays a night, they would just run the first unit the whole time. And he still put up points. He still defended well. I think he was, without question, a beast in that last game against Winnipeg. He played a full game and change. Just incredible. And he was +1 in a game that we lost, a crucial deciding game. He was a +1. So I don't think you can fault him for his play, especially even when it mattered the most. And I've liked him ever since we drafted him. Just a big, tall, really fluid skating, athletic guy that can play physical, nasty, can skate like the wind, can cover up a bit of a defensive liability in Tyson Barrie. And he's still learning. He's still learning and growing and learning his reads and really how to defend. I think he's coming into his own, and I'm excited. I know he put in a lot of work last summer, and I hope that he does the same this summer and comes back even better and stronger. So if you want to get my goat, it's Nurse slander. That usually works for me to upset me. Kind of funny right now that there is actually more viewers on YouTube than I appreciate that, and comment if you can. I appreciate the engagement back and forth, and anything you wanna talk about. There's really no holds barred here is kind of what I like to say, but yeah. Bruce McCurdy, I guess, on Twitter brought up actually it was on the Low Tide show the other day, brought up a pretty good point when it came to Adam Larsson. Edmonton is a city that Adam lost his father in, and maybe that had more to do with the trade than anything. It's hard to know. Um, it's speculation, but maybe that was a contributing factor. Um, Excellent point by Bruce McCurdy. I didn't even think of it until he said it. I know from personal experience, in my son's like in our family, that there was a pretty heavy loss that happened, right at home, and the people that loss directly affected had to move away from that home because it was a constant reminder of what happened. And that happens, and that's kind of a sad part of life. But when Bruce said that, I immediately thought about that, and yeah, maybe that had more to do with him going to Seattle than we'll ever know. I mean, I don't think Adam's ever going to tell you why he left. I think he'll keep that pretty close. So, but it does make you think. And, you kind of get into the same thing when it comes to this whole thing with the Blackhawks, and who knew what was going on, and who said, or, who kept things quiet, or, who swept it under the rug. Some people want to blame Duncan Keith and say that he knew, and, what kind of leader is he, and whatever, and all of that. And that might be fair, but we really have no idea what went on there, and so to speculate, to paint the guy, with he's a terrible person kind of brush, I don't know. I really don't. I've seen the video of him, with the little girl in Chicago. If you look up Duncan Keith with Callie, you can watch it. It's pretty moving, but he knew he was going to get taped that day, so there's a lot that can go on, but we don't know. And you know what, some people think, like, I don't know, for me, I think maybe he left that might have been a contributing factor to why he wanted to go. I don't know. Sometimes a hockey dressing room can be a wild, environment. I, I don't want to say that all dressing rooms are bad, and hockey is terrible, and there's nothing but toxic environments, and it's cancerous, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you can say whatever you want, but sometimes you get into a dressing room where a captain of the team can run a team, and so maybe it's Jonathan Toews, or maybe it's fringe players that did it. I don't know, and I don't think anybody that wasn't inside of that room really knows. It may come out, it may not, it may get brushed aside, it may get kind of like bought out almost, in a sense, where it's paid to keep quiet. Who knows? But I don't know. I think if we start judging everybody in life based on what we think they might have done, I think we're going to miss out on some really special people in this life. And I guess that's all I really want to say about that. But I'm at the 46-minute mark here. I think I'm just about done. I don't have a lot more I really want to say, but other than I think I probably will close right away here. I think there, I've talked about kind of what's all going on in the the last few days. I think some interesting things, coming up here. We've got the entry draft now, and then we head into real free agency. So some things might happen right away. So I think Sunday we'll have more to talk about. Sunday night, like I said, Inked Oil, Rob will hopefully be able to join us. Hopefully the rig will give him a reprieve and let him actually have a couple days off, so he can be a part of this. And Dash should be back. So yeah, I think that's probably where I'll leave it. And as I always say, keep your sticks on the ice and keep reaching for the stars. And go Oilers, go. And catch you next time. Peace out.